Welcome back to the Titanium Hanger. This is Mike. Today I want to talk to you about Wave 8 of the Thundercats Ultimates from Super 7, and some of these are exactly what we expected. Well, pretty much all of it's exactly what we expected, but we're going to talk about this. We're going to go into detail. We're going to look at what all they come with and all of the features and all that kind of stuff, and the decisions they made to make these figures in this wave coming up. Alright, so last week I was talking about all the villains that were never made before. I was going to make a video guessing what was in this, and this wave I thought that they were going to make pretty much these figures, more or less, but I was a little surprised by two. So, anyway, Wiley Kit is one of them. I figured they would give us Cat first, then Kit, but who knows. Anyway, this is a very nice looking version, probably the exact same thing as Mattel. I guess I gotta go pull my Mattel ones out and figure out if this is exactly the same, if they did anything different, or whatever. Gonna try to throw a little side-by-side up there. Some things look a little bit different, such as coloration, such as the stuff on the belt there. The knees look a little bit different, so there is some stuff that looks different on this. The arms and elbows, so it might be a slightly different figure or a whole new figure, but I know that it's going to have some different heads and stuff like that, and I'm excited for some accessories. This looks like different board there going on. Well, maybe it's the same board, but be interesting to see comparison when we get it in hand. Okay, so what does Wiley Kit come with? She comes with the figure, alternate head, which kind of a wink expression going on. 3 alternate hands, so actually she only comes with 2.5 sets of hands. Very light for them, for such a small figure. Comes with a hoverboard flight stand, lasso, and a stored lasso. I don't know if that's all the accessories. I got mine secondhand for really, really cheap. But I don't have all the accessories from the original set, so I'm not 100% sure what all came with the original set. But I guess this is good enough, and I probably wouldn't display it with everything in here anyway, so that's fine. I'm not sure what head sculpt I like. I kind of like that wink a little bit, but I probably would rather have both open eyes. This is a mock-up of the packaging. How it's going to be, it won't be exactly like this, but it's a mock-up, and that's what to expect. Now, we're going to get into Hatchimal, but I want to say I pretty much would expect Wave 9 is going to have Wiley Cat, because you're not going to have both of them in one wave. I predicted that. I predicted we'd get one in one wave and then one in another wave, and that just seems like half the wave being Wiley Kit and Wiley Cat just doesn't seem appealing to everybody. But it might be appealing. Anyway, Hatchimal. Now, this is a very good-looking Hatchimal that they're making. I like the way it looks, and it feels right. And it's definitely an improvement, an update to the original figure. And then we get all these wonderful accessories. So the features are box content. Hatchimal figure, alternate head. So you have one head with no helmet and then a helmeted head. So it's not like you put a helmet on his head. That's fine if that's how you want to go. I'm not sure how I display it, probably with the helmet. That's just probably how I'm going to display it. 5 alternate hands, so you get a total of 3.5 sets of hands. That's kind of something new that they're doing here. A scabbard and a thunder cutter sword, and a thunder cutter sword with lightning effect and pointing hand. So I guess you do technically get 4 sets of hands. And then swappable chest plate. So a lot of cool stuff on there, a lot of good accessories. One thing they always do is include a lot of good accessories. Here's the box. Remember the vintage LJN one? All it had was a helmet and a sword, and you're good to go with a complete figure. So, man, I wonder if like 20 years from now people will be trying to track down and get complete Super 7 figures. Like, I'm missing that left hand. I need that left. Probably not. Probably not. So now we're getting into Captain Shiner. Now, I want to say that I wouldn't have guessed this for this wave. I would have actually guessed they would have done Safari Joe next, not Shiner. But I don't know. I don't know what they're thinking or what's going on. But it's still not a bad pick. I assume, and this is an assumption, you know what happens when you assume, you usually get it right. So I assume they're going to do every LJN figure and mix in and pepper in some of the figures. Like in the video I made last week, about all the villains that were never made before. I think they're going to pepper in these kinds of characters as we go down the road, which we're about to see that. But since he is an LJN figure, obviously they're going to make him. And here he is holding this sword, and it's, what was that, a Stolen Thundera sword? We'll find that out when we get to the accessories here, exactly what they call that thing. And then, yeah, that is a Sword of Omens Obscured. That's what they call that. Yeah, there we go. But, yeah, it looks pretty good. Looks like you'd expect. Way better than the vintage figure. I think the vintage figure kind of weird looking. And this guy looks more like the cartoon, the animation, and so I do like that. Alright, so here he is with a lot of stuff. And there's some interesting stuff in here that I wouldn't have thought about, I wouldn't have included. But I guess they're like, well, what can we put with this guy? You know, he doesn't come with much. But that's the thing. Where's his Captain Shiner gun? Like the original LJN big old fat red gun. I don't see it. Anyway, he does come with this slew of stuff. 2 alternate heads, 5 alternate hands, crossed arms. So, I don't know how that's going. You pop his arms off and you pop on the crossed arms. That's different. I'm sure there's figures out there that's done before, but I don't own a figure that's got that feature. So that's a new feature to me. Sword of Omens Obscured, shackles, and a blaster. But his blaster, is that more cartoon accurate than the ginormous laser tag, red laser tag gun that the LJN toy comes with? So I guess we have to wait for a reissue to get the LJN gun, right? Alright, so here he is in the package. He's got a monocle on every head. All those 3 different heads that he's got going on there. And decent accessories. I don't know. I'm not super stoked about really any of his accessories, but I do kind of like the crossed arms. I might actually display him that way. That is cool. But wouldn't it be cool if his articulation was just good enough that he could cross his arms without having to include crossed arms? But that would go against everything I've said about liking the fact that it's not super hyper articulated and the sculpt isn't broken up. Now we're getting into the figure Alluro, and I have to admit that this is where I'm a little bit weak in my knowledge of the Thundercats, and that's when it comes to the Lunatics. I don't know a whole lot about them. I've watched several episodes with them in it, and I don't know all of the names of all of them, so I'm still kind of learning all that kind of stuff. But first thing I said when I saw him was, that's a Lunatic, and I knew they were going to make them. And I even said that in that last video. They're going to make the Lunatics. Brian's already said he's going to. And so the fact that he's putting one out already, that's awesome. I assume that there's like 5 or 6 of these. So that's over the next 5 or 6 waves that we'll see them. And I'm interested in how they make the really big guy and the real little lady. I wonder how that goes. That's probably going to be like a $75 set. But still interesting that they're making this guy. What does he come with? So let's look at his stuff here. Obviously, you're going to get the Alluro figure alternate head, which I kind of like the alternate head with the laughing and crazy. But then again, that sinister smile is good too. So great choices on the heads. 5 alternate hands. So 3.5 sets of hands. He has a Psych Club. He's got 2 orbs. He's got a map, an Orga talisman, and then a chest. So cool stuff that he comes with. Looks pretty good. I think this is a pretty solid step into the Lunatics and a very good character because of the fact that it's never been made into figure form. And I knew they were going to do this. I knew they were going to make figures that have never been made before. Fantastic. And here he is in a package. I think it looks fine. Looks good. We already pretty much know what to expect, but every figure has its own different set of accessories and all that kind of stuff, so there it goes. Now, getting into some of the figures that I would like to have seen in Wave 8. Maybe we'll see them in Wave 9, but I do like to see Stinger, mostly because, you're probably going to guess the next one I want to see is too, but mostly because those wings are hard to get on a vintage one, and because this character is kind of cool, but the figure itself, they could do so much with it because of all the swappable parts and all that kind of stuff. I think with both this one and the next one, they would have swappable lower leg areas to do different things, or maybe I'm curious to see what they do. But obviously, it would take a lot of tooling. They try to say every figure they make has all new tooling, which probably isn't true. But anyhow, still, Stinger is one we definitely need. Driller is also one that we're going to need. So I would like to see this for two reasons. First off, I would like to see how they handle the leg swap. And because, again, Driller is an expensive figure. Hard to get. Not everybody can get one. Not everybody can drop anywhere between $300 and $1,000 on this figure. So, oh, and you're saying $300 for no legs. None of the leg pieces. So, I'd like to see what they could do with it. It'd be pretty nice, pretty awesome, pretty cool. So, a lot of fun. But we need a Driller. We also need the Burbles. And with the Burbles, Bear, Bill, and Bert. We need those out the gate, obviously. I'm wondering if they could probably use some shared parts and tooling on these. Obviously. I would say that they do that. But why not give us a 3-pack, get all 3 of them, and it would be great to get some options and stuff with that. I know some people don't like the Burbles, but the vintage ones, again, are expensive. You're lucky to find one for $50, but they go up to $100 depending on condition, all that kind of stuff. So I had a hard time tracking mine down without breaking the bank. So I imagine these at 50 is not 55 is not as bad of like a complaint as Snarf at 55, but a 3-pack for like 100. Yeah, a 3-pack for like 100 would make a lot of sense right there. We also need a Tongosaurus. Oh, there's really no other way to get one other than dropping like $3,000. I'm not doing that, let me tell you. And for that, they could also add more to it and do more function, all that cool stuff. And seeing has how the Thunder Tank looks good. I don't have mine in yet, but it looks really good. I think they can handle something like this, something big. Would be awesome if there was a lot more functionality to it than what we got with the vintage one. And to get this thing, even if they charge $100 for it, it'd be a lot cheaper than getting one from someone else. But I think this would sell really well, but then it might only appeal to the ultra vintage collector. Okay, we also need a Safari Joe, and funny thing is, I had a list prepared. I was planning on making a video already before Wave 8 showed up of what I wanted to see, and Shiner was next on the list. But Safari Joe beats out Shiner by 1 slot, in my opinion. So I would like to see Safari Joe, in the next wave, one of the next waves. We got to get them before they're done with this, and I almost guarantee you they will. And the thing is, he is a relatively expensive figure for the vintage one, but I'm curious to see what all kind of crazy contraptions and accessories they include with this guy, because he did do a lot of stuff. He was kind of one of those hunters that had a lot of contraptions, right? So next on my list was going to be Hatchimal! But they've already announced that one, so... So Tuska Warrior. Tuska Warrior is next on the list. And this is one that you'd want to troop build, possibly. Have a few of them. So they should make troop builders. I don't know why they don't. The Tuska Warrior is by far absolutely the cheapest and easiest to get, including his accessories cheap and easy to get. They're the cheapest ones in the vintage LJN line. But it'd be cool to get a Tuska Warrior and get it in scale. Obviously, pretty much everything in the LJN line should be done by Super 7, since they're like 75% there already. So, be pretty cool. And actually, I would have put Berserkers. They should have been at the end of the list, and this is where I should have had Driller and Stinger, because they should have been closer to the top of the list. I kind of messed that one up. But anyway, Berserkers. So, we've already gotten Hammerhand, and they released Cruncher, Ram Bam, and Top Spinner in the vintage line. They did not release the Cannon Blaster and Quick Jaws to the left. So I'm pretty sure we're going to get Cruncher, Ram Bam, and Top Spinner eventually. And the reason we need to get those is because the vintage ones really suck. They do. This is a terrible... those 3 suck. Hammerhand was a good figure, a decent figure in vintage. But the rest of them, they have one action feature that runs the entire figure. It's the whole figure's ruined because it has a silly action feature. So I don't know if the Cannon Blaster and Quick Jaws, if they make those, they'd want to make them with an action feature or not. But just getting regular action figures of the other ones would be pretty much a basic expectation by now. Alright, so There it is. That's Wave 8. Let me know what you guys think about Wave 8. Are you excited for this? Are you going to pre-order this? I just pre-ordered all of them on BBTS, and then hopefully I find a cheaper option. Now, if you go to Super 7, the Super 7 store right now, and pre-order them, they're going to give you 15% off if you buy the whole wave. But I don't like that idea. That's saving you some money, but I don't like that idea because of the fact that you're going to wait a year, and you're going to have your money tied up for a year, and who knows what's going to happen in a year. So I like the way BBTS does it. You pre-order it. They've never canceled a pre-order on me before, so that's why I go through BBTS. I'd use Entertainment Earth too, but I'm not quite sure about their pre-order system, and then of course the flat rate shipping for like 100 different items from BBTS. But I'm curious about what you think, and what do you think about my picks for what else is coming in future waves? Like, subscribe, Steer Hanger out.